y'all just ever wake up in a bad mood? Like something just happened in the middle of the night that you were not anticipating? Just kind of sets your week in order.
Mm-hmm. It set the tone.
Oh my god. Welcome to the Two Schmoes Show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the infamous Orion, and apparently I've been living in an echo chamber the last 4 years.
I'm Cairo, and I built the echo chamber for the last 8 years.
Oh my god. That was good. I'll give you that.
It's rough, though. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a lot of introspection this week.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah. Election night, I was up all night, and I fell asleep for maybe like 1 hour. And I went to work the next day, and I passed out. I slept for like 10 hours the next day.
That was the first time in my life, that Tuesday night, that I have ever taken a sleep aid, and it did fuck all.
Dude, I was on Z-Quil, and I only got an hour of sleep.
Yeah. I do think, though, and obviously we're talking about the American election, in case it's not obvious, but there is a lot that is worth dissecting from it. And I think we'll probably get into more of that at a later point, particularly once everything is like actually done being counted, because there's been a lot of, I think, valid speculation that has happened so far, trying to understand the results that we've seen and the totals and everything. But until we have the full count, it's all presumptive to a degree. And trends change when you get to the margins like they're counting in right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. This whole election, like, ever since the count came in and AP called and everybody else started calling and whatnot,
Yeah.
I have found it's really telling about how a lot of people are reacting. And I truly don't mean this in the wrong way, but some of y'all are just fucking bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, again, one of the biggest things for me after all this is having to come to terms with the fact that I've been living in an echo chamber, because that was not at all how I expected anything to go. So, I don't know. Like, that's where my thought ends. I don't have an epiphany at the end, unfortunately.
No, it just sucks.
No. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want this, but clearly it resonates more with other people, and I just have to kind of live with it, you know?
Yeah. I will say, in terms of let me see if I can analyze this a little bit better here to understand how this is being counted, because I feel like I'm missing something here with the way that this article is set up. God, I wish there was any, like, why can't you just give me a number? New York Times. Come on. Come on. The only silver lining that I've been able to find out of this is that the U.S. House elections are still really close. And from the last thing that I saw, based on still early voting totals, particularly in places like California, where they just have like 60 million ballots to count, so it just takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, it looks like the Republicans are on track for a 2-seat majority. Very thin margins. But that also means I have to hold out the minimum amount of hope, right? That when push comes to shove, there would be at least 2 Republicans that would be like, hey, maybe making this guy God Emperor is a little bit fucked up and we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Or people who are so deep in some corporate, like, and this is the really sad thing, that we have to rely on the desire of corporations to have economic stability to maximize their profits as the means to keep unchecked power in check. That also kind of seems like where we are.
I have a couple predictions based off how everything's going. Truthfully, I like to try and be an optimist. It's hard being an optimist.
It is.
I've dabbled in pessimism. I don't want to live that life, so it's kind of like an involuntary choice to be optimistic for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is my hope that everything I feel is a result of that echo chamber, and that I can be pleasantly surprised throughout the next 4 years.
Yeah.
To everybody, like, I'm kind of of the opinion now that maybe this election was won back like 3 years ago when "Let's Go Brandon" started becoming a meme. Which, shit tier meme as it is, it kind of really paints a picture of how this election turned out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for an idea, in the House, the current state of the House right now, I found a better way to count this. So I actually have numbers I can report here. Currently, what is this? Let me actually double check this. 415 of the 436 seats have been called. Democrats have 202 and Republicans have 213. To hit, what is it? 12. Yeah, the New York Times article page here is kind of a mess because it's a mix of like the actual results and their speculative. These are the things that we think are going to be competitive, and these are the things that we think are not. Mm-hmm. But right now, the Dems are on track to gain at least another 12 of those seats, which would put them at 214. And there's probably one or two more that might go their way. So it is going to be extremely close in the House.
Yeah.
I've foresee, been able to at least confirm that part of it.
Based off everything I can guess, like the Republican Party, like when you look at the Mike Johnson arc, has not been like one beautifully well-oiled machine. Granted, their marketing seems to be quite well-oiled. I imagine if they do get a majority, it's going to lead to a lot of infighting. Like, if it's a slim majority, at least. Because then you're going to see a lot more people leverage their muscles to, like, get what they want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. My congratulations to the Kamala campaign, because despite losing, it was a very well-ran, well-oiled machine for the 3 months it was around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that in a hindsight sort of situation, you can obviously go way, way back, and if you want to talk like the obvious, in hindsight, correct decision is Biden doesn't run at all.
Yeah.
In the world where he does, though, I think they did the best that they could with the options that they had available.
Yeah. And, I do think it says a lot about where people are mentally at this moment, where it's been a hard, ever since COVID, really. Things have been hard, man. Like, we're just getting back up and running, I think. Like, people still, blame inflation for everything, which at this point I think is just more price gouging more than anything. And absolutely, I think when you look at the median voter, someone who doesn't follow politics that hard, it's really fucking easy to blame Biden for everything. Even though he was the guy who came to clean up the mess. And, he's not the originator of the inflation, but he didn't really do much to clean it up faster. Yeah. And with the odd Republican narrative of Republicans are good for the economy, I see where a lot of people are coming from. I don't agree with it, but I can see where everybody's coming from, and I hope that everything works out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 4 years of good egg prices. Let's go.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean that will be the thing, right?
Yeah.
We know the platforms that Trump ran on, and we'll have to see if they actually decide to follow through on those promises. Because if they do, I can guarantee you eggs and gas won't stay cheap for long.
Dude, so here's my thing. Like, this is me kind of bouncing back a little bit. Donnie never filled his
Mm-hmm.
campaign promises on the last one, so I really don't know what to fucking expect.
It's difficult though, because while he didn't, and I think that's going to be the reality. Reality is disappointing, right? We
Yeah.
want at some level for there to be theatrics and excitement, even if we don't want to admit it, because it causes destabilization. And I think that is largely what we saw in Trump's first turn, is that because it was more laughable than devastating, people were willing to overlook the very real damage that was done
Yeah.
during that term, where they've the Heritage Foundation has been publishing some Project 2025 equivalent for the entirety of their existence, and they had one for Trump's first term, and they accomplished something like 60% of their stated goals for that term. So even if they are the most banal of goals, 60% of what is their stated goals is still extremely damaging.
Yeah. Especially when you have all their
On the other
goals.
side of it, though,
Yeah. Sorry.
like trying to look for the silver lining in this, right? Because that's the hard part, and I think it's worth trying to do. The major silver lining is that of the 10 abortion ballot initiatives that were put to people in this election, 7 of them passed, including in extremely red strongholds like yeah, that doesn't really work, but extremely red strongholds like Missouri and Nebraska, I believe it were the 2 major ones that passed abortion initiatives.
Yeah. Bravo to that, by the way.
We'll be very happy to try and screw 'em over. But yeah, 2024 ballot measures: Arizona, Colorado, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, uh, sorry, 7, passed abortion protections in their state. And while Florida had one on theirs and it didn't pass, it still had. And this is, I feel so bad for the people who live in Florida. I don't know why they are still there, to be frank. I guess it's out of like just necessity because they can't afford to move elsewhere or whatever, or there's some particular thing that pulls them there.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine living in a state where you require a 60% vote to pass constitutional amendments when the constitutional amendment that requires 60% to be the mark only got 58% support. So now Floridians voted 57% in favor of protecting abortion, but that's not good enough because Florida is fucked up and backwards.
Yeah.
The other silver linings, though, that I wanted to mention that I think are going to be things worth dissecting over the next 4 years, and assuming the Democratic Party can recognize the obvious failings that they have had over the last 4 years and do something to correct from it, major problems for the Republicans, honestly. Trump pretty overwhelmingly won the presidential election.
Yeah.
Even with that, though, Democratic senators were still elected in Michigan, Wisconsin, and are on track for Arizona as well. They obviously flipped certain states that they needed to, like Pennsylvania, but the odds of the Democrats retaining a majority in the Senate, even with a landslide for Harris winning the presidency, was already almost non-existent. The idea of flipping West Virginia with Manchin retiring or trying to flip Ohio back, or the long shot of trying to flip Texas, which maybe could have happened, but that's one of like 4 that they would have needed that are all extreme long shots.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Michigan, Wisconsin, and Arizona all went pretty, clearly 1-2%. Arizona, in that case, went by 4%, 5% to Trump, but the Senate seats still went to the Democrats, shows that there is either a messaging problem that the Republicans have to deal with, or like polling ignorance problem where they have people who are willing to go to the polls to check a box next to Trump's name and do nothing else. And if it's the latter, and they aren't able, assuming it's the latter situation where people are going just to vote for Trump, and over the next 4 years, the Constitution doesn't get completely dissolved, and Trump isn't able to run for a 3rd fucking term, they're going to have a real problem because they have to figure out a way to get those people excited too. And there is very few things that have been able to excite people to get off their ass and actually go vote the way that Trump has, for, I would say, for better, but almost entirely for the worse of our society.
I think it's really interesting, really.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Because, like, I think it's pretty obvious at this point. He got more votes this term than he did in the previous other 2 terms, which I don't understand how that happened. It's kind of impressive, really.
This is, again, one of those things that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Yeah. Right now, he is, 500,000 above what he was at before, and there's still a lot of voting that has to happen in California. And I think we're going to see some of these, like, there's a lot of doomer, and justifiably so, about the popular vote numbers right now, and that will need to get reckoned with at some point. But I do strongly think we're going to see at the end of this that I'm going to call it the Joe Rogan effect.
Yeah.
Right? Where you have, and I fucking hate this, but you genuinely have huge numbers of people who are voting in this election for their first time that are overwhelmingly male, who have been tied into these podcast type ecosystems that over the last 8 years have swung to become heavily conservative and have found themselves pushed down that pipeline,
Yeah.
And I strongly think that is just a group of voters that historically doesn't vote much, and in this case did vote for Trump.
I like your reasoning there. And it makes sense. Like, I know there is that meme that Kamala shot herself in the foot by not going to Joe Rogan, but
yeah, I don't think that would have mattered, frankly.
I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. I think maybe it would have done something. Because, like, here's the thing I've learned about Joe Rogan fans. They like to think they're moderate. And it's like, of course, they probably do have a lot of moderate views and whatnot. But at the same time, I do think there is, like, an incentivized disposition for them to get to one side faster than the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like,
and that's the thing, though, is that if you're looking at, like, Joe Rogan in 2016, I think is fair to call them relatively moderate. But the masks have come completely off at this point. Like, he endorsed Trump, right? You can't be a moderate and endorse one candidate or the other.
Yeah. I'm saying more about his audience, and at the same time, the audience is susceptible to that, like, influence. Sure. Yeah. Like, for all...
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they think they are.
Yeah. And that might just be an Overton window situation. Because, like, if you look at it, like, there's a lot of different flavors of right wing on the Trump camp that I'm sure a lot of people can make an argument that they're more, like, they are relatively moderate compared to a lot of his diehard supporters.
One last thing I want to double check on, a little bit local. I hadn't heard the results of this yet, but Michigan local elections. I've actually had a surprisingly difficult time trying to find elections results for Michigan that are like just easy to read.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of stuff about like how to go and vote, but not the results. Not in a way that are easy to just like look through. That's not what I wanted. Why did it do that?
Quick pause real quick.
Okay.
And welcome back. We had to pause for a second because my box is making weird sounds, but we will continue on like usual. The show, or should I say the schmo, must go on.
Yeah, so the last thing that I wanted to mention was the state of the Michigan legislature, because the look so far is that the Republicans are going to be winning a very slim majority in the Michigan House by about 2 or 3 seats. They've named a prospective Speaker of the House, and the Democrats have named a minority speaker. So it seems likely that's going to go through, but the Senate will remain in Democrat control. So we are expected for at least the state of Michigan to enter a bit of a lame duck period for at least the next 2 years.
That's another big thing I do want to bring up. This is only for the next 2 years, by the way. I think there's a lot of people expecting the 4-year of doom, which I understand that perspective, but don't let that dissuade you from voting next time.
Yeah. I'd have to double check it again, but we did see after Trump's first 2 years a pretty strong shift. And it is also because of midterms apathy. But that was when the Democrats won back control of the Senate, was in that second year, I'm pretty sure. So the idea that this is going to be a guaranteed 4 years thing is, I agree, very and not backed up by history.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how everything plays out, how everything goes, and yeah, that's all we can do.
Pretty much.
Write your local congressperson.
The other thing we can do is go to the movies.
Let's all go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies where they have fucking military stipends for the next 4 years. That's how that song goes, right?
Something like that. We do have a lot of movie releases, more than I expected when I was going through it at first, from last week and this week. So
where do you want to start?
I think we'll start with the stuff that we haven't seen yet, and then we'll go to the one that one of us has.
Oh boy.
Which technically we already talked about, so it's kind of, yeah. But yeah, we'll get there, though. So new releases that we haven't talked about yet. One that I was a bit surprised to see, I had not heard about this ahead of time, but I believe this is somewhere in the range of either indie or film festival kind of thing, but it has over 200 critic reviews, which is pretty notable still, which kind of lends me towards the film festival kind of vibe. But Anora, this is a drama / comedy / romance. It's currently sitting at 97% positive critic reviews, 91% positive audience scores. Not enough audience scores for them to like give it a seal or anything, so it's pretty low on that end still, but overwhelmingly positive reception from pretty much everything.
That's good.
In films that I have heard about, Juror Number 2, the latest Clint Eastwood directorial piece, stars Nicholas Hoult, J.K. Simmons, and couple other notable folks. Also doing overwhelmingly positive scores so far. Still very early. I don't even know if this is in theaters yet. I'm actually curious what kind of a release it's going to be getting. But currently sitting at a 92% from critics, 89% from audiences. This is a legal thriller focusing on a family man, Justin Kemp, played by Nicholas Hoult, who, while serving as a juror in a high-profile murder trial, finds himself struggling with a serious moral dilemma. Not a ton of details on this. Given Eastwood's recent works, though, I mean, I know he's got to be getting close to sort of like the end of his watch, so to say.
Are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, the thing just went out abruptly.
Oh.
As you were saying?
So I was curious to look up what Juror Number 2's release was expected to be, and just, you gotta love streaming services, don't you? Apparently, Warner Brothers has seen the overwhelming reception to Netflix's and HBO's handling of films like Glass Onion and The Menu, and decided that they're going to go ahead and get on that too by having their little, I don't know what you want to call it, because it's not even like wide enough of a release to be like performative. It's just like to say that they did. But Juror Number 2 only opened in 31 US theaters for its opening week. 31.
31. How many theaters are there in the US?
I'm going to guess at least 32.
God damn. That poor theater.
Apparently they are giving it a wide European release, though. But, you know, they're going to go put it on HBO Max. It's not there yet, though. So good luck seeing it if you want to. It would be a real damn shame if a Clint Eastwood film just didn't get a release anywhere. Like, what the hell would they be doing at that point?
Prepping up Clint Westwood?
Yeah. Going through some of the other films that have been coming out this week and doing relatively good. I think that's the big surprise that I've been seeing that this week is that this week and last week, there's a lot of films that I haven't seen much about, not a ton of high profile information about them, but they're all being received overwhelmingly positively. We have Steve McQueen's Blitz, the director of 12 Years a Slave. This is a World War II, you know, I guess it's kind of epic kind of a thing, dealing with the Blitz, as the name implies, of London and the United Kingdom by the Germans, doing moderately well, 79, 66%. Reviews are mostly positive. We have, which one is this one? A Real Pain is what it's called. Jesse Eisenberg's latest.
I forgot about Jesse Eisenberg as a person.
I'm curious how many. Well, yeah, like he can't have that many directorial roles. I feel like, you know.
Yeah.
He's got one other from 2022. I'm not seeing anything obvious before that. So relatively new in the role of a director, but this one's being received well. 94% positive score. Still early. Looks like this is maybe, like, I don't know. Hard to tell where this is actually released, but he directs and stars in it, and people seem to be liking it. Last one that I have. This is one that I have actually seen trailers for. Heretic. Where Where's the little synopsis? Though two young missionaries are forced to prove their faith when they knock on the wrong door and are greeted by a diabolical Mr. Reed, becoming ensnared in a deadly game of cat and mouse. This is an A24 distribution. I have been certainly curious from the trailers that I've seen of it. It has a really nice sort of tonal back and forth that it starts with and ends up with, and reviews are positive for it so far. 92% from critics, 78% from audiences, and this is in its release weekend. A24 is one of the last good, like, what are they? Distributors, it seems like. They have the right philosophy.
I don't want to be a dick, don't get me wrong, but like I've also felt like A24 has been very monotonous a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. It's very much in the same way that like Blumhouse, right? They know their niche.
Yeah. Like I can agree that these are good movies. The ones I have seen. I just feel like there's definitely a feel that they kind of have pigeonholed.
Yep. You know you're watching an A24 movie.
Exactly.
And to round out the schedule this week, would you like to talk about Venom?
Truly, it was a Venom: The Last Dance. Overall, I have very mixed feelings about this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do me a quick favor real quick, right?
Yeah.
Can you look at the Wikipedia for this?
Sure.
Okay. Because I feel to understand this movie, you must read its Wikipedia.
Okay. I am here. Do you want me to read through the plot?
No. We are going to actually go to the knowledge panel part of it, and I want to describe how everything in that knowledge panel pulls out, right?
Okay.
This movie is directed by Kelly Marcel, right?
Sure, yes.
And Kelly, for her credit, good job. You definitely directed a movie. Go to her Wikipedia, please.
Okay. I am on Kelly's page.
Now go to her filmography.
Filmography, yep.
She is a first-time director and second-time producer of this film.
Mm-hmm.
And she is co-writer for Let There Be Carnage. Let There Be Carnage.
Looks like the first one, too.
Well, I wasn't paying attention to that part. So, she is someone who has writing experience in these movies, yet she's the sole writer of the screenplay.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy also helped pitch this movie. I would like to call this an auteur film of Kelly Marcel. And this is both a compliment, but it's also for understanding of this film.
Okay.
Now, as you go through the production and the summary part, like the very first 3 paragraphs, you're going to notice there's a SAG strike in there.
Yep, I see that one. Has its own Wikipedia page, even.
Yes. This movie, I feel, is a product of SAG's strike in a way I've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Kelly Marcel is the only reason why this movie probably got finished. And to that, I thank her. But oh my god, this feels like the first draft of a script. Every character that is not Eddie Brock or Venom speaks in exposition. There's a scene in this movie where, okay, I want to call out one thing, right? I'll admit there's bad parts about this movie. There's probably a lot more bad than there is good. But to every fucking YouTuber out there I've seen a review of, y'all don't go into how fucking stupid this shit is, and I hate you all for it. Fuck you. Get your license revoked. There's a character who is introduced via a nightmare sequence. Her nightmare is her and her twin sitting on the beach watching the stars, and she goes, wow, I'm going to be the twin sister of an astronaut one day. It cuts. There's a thunderstorm, and they try to run from the thunderstorm on this beach. Lightning strikes Dr. Payne, the character, and it runs through her hands and goes through her hand. I'm sorry, she's holding hands with her twin while she's running. I should preface this. The lightning goes through her hands into her twin and kills her twin instead.
Jesus.
The fact that that's never been mentioned once. Fuck you, YouTubers. So this whole movie is very much trying to set up Null for future movies, and it does set up some other stuff I'll get into later, and it's also setting up the big finale. And I'll say this, right? 2/3 of this film, utter shit, unforgivable. Kelly Marcel, thank you for doing your best on this. The last third, the last dance, if you will, the big action sequence at the end, amazing. No notes. The best part of the whole series, in my opinion. Because it climaxes with setting up all these military characters, all this military base, all these symbiotes, and you just have what is essentially the end game finale with like all these superheroes against Thanos, but it's just all these symbiotes like Venom ganging up and beating the shit out of one giant alien.
Okay.
And that is so good, it literally feels like it's a different movie. In fact, if you just gave me the ending of this movie, like the last third, I'd be cool with it. Overall, it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing. I'm upset that my boy Toxin was not in the movie, even though they set him up. But there is what appears to be set up for an Agent Venom movie at the very end.
Okay.
Do you not know about Agent Venom?
No.
Buckle up, it's a fucking ride. I fucking love that character. And I hope Toxin is being saved for the eventual Agent Venom movie that I hear is also being written right now. Kelly, please come back for Agent Venom. I'm begging you. This movie is truly stupid. It hits all the good receptors in my brain, all I need. I'm glad it made its budget back and then some. And I cannot wait to see how fucking stupid Sony gets going forward. Any questions on the film?
No.
I agree. That's fine.
I mean, it's Venom: The Last Dance. I feel like this is very much a movie where the critics versus audience scores are very representative, where it's like, if you have to judge this critically, you can't really say that it's like good, because it's not. But if you're just there to have a good time, it's like, hell yeah.
Dude, I was watching this during the
CGI
election
things
night,
beat each other up.
and it gave me some hope. I highly recommend it. I recommend the Venom trilogy as a whole. I think it's legitimately stupid, but it's also so fun. I think overall, Sony has something going on with the Null character. They probably should have used him a little bit more in this movie, but I'll forgive them as long as they do something with him. Please just give me something good. That's all I'm asking for you. There's also a huge plot hole in this movie I'm not going to address because I want people to know I still like this movie. So take that for what it's will. For what you will.
All right. With that, would you like to talk Grammys?
I was born to talk the Grammys. Beatles sweep. Let's go.
Beatles sweep. The Beatles sweeping in 2024 is sure something.
Isn't it weird? The Rolling Stones and Beatles are nominated for Grammys this year, and I cannot get over that.
You want to go top to bottom? I guess first I should check. Which website are you on?
Fuck. I had The Guardian up for a second, but now, I must have accidentally closed out of it because I'm not seeing it in my tabs.
Okay. I have Variety right now. There's the first one that I found.
Yeah, I'll just do Variety.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we have the first round of voting done. So we have the nominations for the 2025 Grammys. And before we get into them, I do think we're going over them at the start before we went live. I think this is the best set of nominations that we've seen from the Grammys in a while, just as like a whole. There's a couple of like obvious, like, oh, okay, I think they had to put that in there out of obligation, not necessarily because it's deserving, but by and large, the vast majority is just good music. And it's nice to have that.
It's a year where there's obviously some bias, but there's a lot more diversity than they had any right to be.
Yep. Let's start with the record of the year.
Yeah.
I'll let you take this one away because you have, I think, more to.
So, record of the year, we have the Beatles' Now and Then, which I think is a very lovely end song to the Beatles' legacy. I think it is the only good use of AI ever in a song. Then we have Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, which is also very good. I think Beyonce really knocked it out of the fucking park with this single, and it's the only good country song I've heard this year. Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. I really have no opinion on this song because every time I hear it, I have a different opinion. I don't think that's a good thing. 360 by Charlie XCS. I have no opinions because I have not heard it. Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. I have not heard it. Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. I believe that if they really wanted to...
You still there? I think I've lost you.
What's that? Did you say something, Carol? Big Grammy just tried to silence us, but we're back. So back where we were. Did you get my spiel on Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter? Yeah.
I did not. Could you go through it again?
Yeah. So I have weird opinions about Espresso because at some points I think it's a genuinely kind of fun disco song. However, every time I listen to it now, I have like a vast opinion of either I hate it or I'm super indifferent to it. And it keeps changing. Sometimes, like, every once in a third listen, I'll like it again, but I think I might just be overexposed to that song. What about you?
I haven't heard any of it.
That's fine. You're not missing much. 360 by Charlie XCX. I have not heard that song, so I have no opinion on it. Birds of Feather by Billie Eilish. I have not heard that song, and I have no opinion on it. Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. I think this is too safe of a pick. I think it is a meaningless pick with the Kendrick Drake beef. It's there just to acknowledge it, don't get me wrong. But if you want to show, like, you have an understanding of just how much Kendrick hates this man, I think you would have done Meet the Grams. It would have been more humiliating. It would just... If you voted for this, you just like the hook.
I kind of get why they have Not Like Us as the record of the year, but I would have liked to have seen Meet the Grams for like one of the other awards just to give it the nod.
Yeah, because like there's enough material for like an EP of just this beef, and I think Meet the Grams is like the definitive like killing blow, and Not Like Us is just the encore.
Yeah, Meet the Grams was when everybody realized it's just like, oh, this isn't just a beef. This is like serious.
Yeah. And like, again, Kendrick, it'd be cool if Kendrick wins this at the end, but I don't think this is the song I would want to be the winner of it. Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan. Have not heard that. I heard some Chappell Roan over this year. I think she's good. Nothing I hate.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't really... I can appreciate why people like it, but it is not for me.
I think it is just one of those things where we're dudes and we have that a tendency to go for a masculine sound. I like this whole list. I've had more to say about like fucking Kendrick Lamar than anybody else.
Hmm. I will say, and I don't mean this in any way a negative way. My reaction to seeing Chapel Roan in their debut has been very similar to like first seeing Lady Gaga in
Okay.
the presentation and the theatrics. And it feels like that. Yeah, it's obviously effective, but I
It is not
am
messaging
not.
meant for us.
Yeah, it doesn't sway me.
Yeah. I appreciate her as an artist. I would like to see more from her before I have like
Mm,
a definitive
yeah,
opinion.
for sure. And thankfully, she's still very early on in her career.
Yeah. Fortnite by Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone. I've not heard
Hmm.
this. This sounds like search
I'm pretty
engine
sure I've heard this,
yeah.
and it's fine. It's like it's all that's all Taylor Swift stuff lately. It's like yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
She's got her audience. She's making her money.
It's search engine optimization. Taylor Swift Fortnite. Google it. If you had to give a pick to this list, what would be your choice?
It's a bit difficult for me because I've not listened to a lot of this. Probably Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, because I very much appreciate. So I feel like it should either be Kendrick or Chapel because of the cultural impact that they have had in this year. I think you can argue that the Beatles and Beyonce have had more through the existence of their projects, but for the last calendar year, I feel like Not Like Us and Chapel Roan have made very large waves amongst just culture as a whole.
I see you. I agree with you. I think it means more for them to get the win. I'm a little bit of a romantic. I love the Beyonce Texas Hold'em story.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how she pretty much wrote Cowboy Carter as a snub to Nashville, and I'm all for that pettiness. I would love to see Beyonce win it just to put a middle finger fuck you to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
However, I am also a Beatles fan, and I really like Now and Then. So, like, my head wants Beyonce, but my heart wants the Beatles.
Yeah, I do think yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's the
Any,
kind of thing where I wish that the Beatles had been nominated as part of an album,
yeah,
like a compilation or something that included that, because that would be, I feel like, a very clear, easy, like, yes, we're doing this one because it's the Beatles and it is the definitive Beatles plus some new stuff.
yeah.
But it definitely makes it trickier for record of the year.
I will give you that. I feel that in the large scale of everything, a lot of these songs are fucking events. Like Not Like Us,
Mm-hmm.
Now and Then, and Texas Hold'em. Fucking events. Any of those three I'd be happy with. Chappelle Roan, I think I'd be very happy with. If it were like Taylor Swift, I would say the Grammys are dead.
Yes, I entirely agree with that. Taylor Swift is obviously massively talented and massively popular, but nothing I've seen from her this year has convinced me that it is Grammy worthy.
Yeah. I think in terms of like the actual art, again, Now and Then I think is genuinely impressive for the use of like the AI in it and it being like
Yep.
an actual good use of AI. Texas Hold'em artistry of just the big fuck you to the establishment. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Espresso, I have no strong affiliation for. That song is just a nothing burger to me. It's only there because it's popular. Not Like Us. Again, the Kendrick Drake feud is like the biggest thing to happen in hip hop this decade.
I was gonna say since in the century, even like since the turn of the century, it feels like.
I'll give you that. You can have that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So fuck it. Any of like the three I mentioned before, and then I'll throw in Chappelle. So I think we're a very similar feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Album of the year: New Blue Sun, Andre 3000, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce, Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter, Brat, Charlie XCX, Jesse, I assume Jesse, Volume 4, Jacob Collier, Hit Me Hard and Soft, Billie Eilish, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, Chapel Roan, and The Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift.
New Blue Sun, man.
Absolutely. You kind of made me look this up before the show, and I started listening to it, and I will be surprised if this wins, just because of how the world tends to work. But I feel like this is massively deserving.
So here's my rundown of everything, right? I'm going to do this based off how much I would hate it if these albums won. Tortured Poets Department, fuck yeah. No, don't even get that in there. That should not be nominated. It is only there for the phenomenon that is Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very funny to be a guy talking with a penis with my audio being a little weird at the moment and criticizing Taylor Swift. Don't think the irony is not lost on me. But everything I've learned about this album has been against my will. Jacob Collier, I am not a fan of, which is weird because I'm a jazz guy. So seeing Andre 3000 kick his ass would make me so happy. Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess, I think would be a very interesting pick.
Mm-hmm.
Billie Eilish, I really feel nothing towards, just because I don't know. I feel like the shock of Billie's character is gone. She's just an establishment now, an institution. Brat, I know, is a phenomenon. I'd be okay with Brat on. I would prefer Brat over Short and Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy Carter and New Blue Sun are tied for my number one pick here.
I think that's very fair. Let me double check and see if this is the same thing. Okay, it is not. That's a bit unfortunate. I have listened to a single Jacob Collier song, I think, in my life.
Okay.
And it is Little Blue, like as an acoustic piece.
Okay. Did I lose you? Oh. Big Grammy is really trying to silence us today. It's wild. I think I lost you, Cairo. Oh.
Oh.
Hi there.
Yeah, so it turns out my mic's box is just breaking in real time now. It completely stopped working there. So
this is why you should have put the poly market bet on Donnie so you could afford a new one.
Apparently. What I was saying, though, is that the Mahogany Session version of Collier's Little Blue is the only song of his that I've heard, and I was impressed by it. Knowing that it is not the version that's actually on the album, though, I can't speak to it at all. But I did like that one single song that I heard of his.
Collier is, like, impressive to me on the first few listens, but then, like, I don't know. There's something about him that just wears on me.
Yeah. He's objectively talented.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree. It's not the most, I don't know, original, inspiring. I don't know how you would put it, but I get what you mean. And I would not doubt that I would come to the same conclusion that you have if I was to listen to the whole album.
Okay, so hear me out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to compare Jacob to another person who's very objectively talented. Kanye.
Sure.
Kanye has more personality than Jacob. Jacob has no personality. And I think that's what makes me go back to like a Kanye West record, like Golden Age Kanye, if you let me, right there. But I still liked Donda to some extent. Overall, though, I will stand by whatever is to be done for this category.
I think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah.
Minus, the whole Nazi stuff.
I mean, yeah, Kanye, again, has fell off the deep wagon. I'm waiting for the Kanye West redemption arc. That's all I want.
I don't know how you come back from that,
Humility. Lots and lots of humility, which is not his brand.
I guess so.
Yeah.
No, it's not. He need the only way I see him ever coming back is if he like completely cleans house of all the yes men that he has, and I don't think his ego will allow that.
No, I think he's like the way of Elon Musk right now.
Yeah,
He is too in his own little world. Humility is not an option for people like that.
true, very true.
So, what's your album of the year?
Uh, I, I feel like I have to give it to Andre 3000. It is such a departure for him, and the little of it that I've heard so far is I was very impressed by. He clearly knows what he's doing, and I very much love when artists get an opportunity to sort of just like flex their knowledge and their skill by going into a genre that they're not normally associated with and just being like, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
I'll say this: like, it inspired me to do Mountain of the Bird earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it is among my picks.
Song of the year?
Song of the year. Bar song Tipsy by Shabuzi. Who the fuck are you and what are you doing here?
Would you believe? I actually told you this already. They are the third most on YouTube, at least. I don't have like Spotify numbers, but looking it up on YouTube, third most watched of the Song of the Year nominees.
Yeah, because everybody loves a good drinking song.
Apparently,
Yeah. Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish. What do you have to say? Like, this is the basic Billie sweep pattern. You all know how this works.
yeah, yeah. We're entering a Billy formation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's stop for a second. This isn't our first Grammys together. I think we've seen this pattern emerge before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think this is notable though because we have both Billy and Taylor in the same year.
Yep.
But Taylor's outing this year has been, I think, notably poorer than her average.
I think this year, if Taylor didn't have the Eras tour to support her,
Yeah.
it would have been remarkably weak for her.
Very much agree. And that is an interesting distinction. If there was like the Eras tour, the album, I think it would easily sweep.
That's a good
But
point.
the
That's a good
fact that
point.
there's this like, even if it's superficial, but this bit of separation, I feel like is disadvantageous.
I will say it's been a really interesting year for women in music because, like,
Yeah.
as we're going to touch upon here, lots of women here, and
Oh yeah.
it's very cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's also just kind of interesting to see like these industry patterns that they have for women, and when you start seeing like this, like not congestion's an ugly word for it, but collection of women in the same genre, all doing like the same career patterns, you can start seeing
Yep.
these patterns form way faster than you would typically. Like, it's like a super system.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, Lady Gaga's and Bruno Mars's "Die with a Smile." I'm cool with this one.
I have nothing bad to say about it. Bruno
Yeah.
Mars and Lady Gaga, but for me, Bruno Mars especially is so fucking talented. It's not fair for people competing with him.
Yeah, I give you that. Up next, we have Fortnite featuring Taylor
Yeah.
Swift and Post Malone. Next, Good Luck Babe, Chapel Roan. We've already said our piece on this one.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did not know is I didn't realize she had multiple songwriters work with her, which I did not expect from her.
Mm-hmm.
The outlier for all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not like us, Kendrick Lamar, where he is the sole songwriter.
That's true, yeah.
That's impressive. In a category where there's at least 3 people on every other track. No, Billie Eilish and Phineas for
Yeah.
Birds of a Feather. Okay. Kudos to Kendrick, fucking artist.
Absolutely.
Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter, which I argue is the better of the Sabrina Carpenter singles. I think it's a better song altogether. And then, of course, Texas Hold'em by Beyonce. I'm giving it Texas Hold'em.
I have not listened to the Beyonce album, though. Given your, for me at least, surprisingly high praise for it, I think I have to at this point. Of these ones, like assuming in some crazy universe, Not Like Us wins Record of the Year, I think I would give it to Die with a Smile, just because Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars are phenomenal, and I respect them a lot, and it's a very good song. I would like Not Like Us to win at least one thing, and there's some other nominations later on where there's a chance for that as well. So there's chances there.
Fair.
Yeah. That's kind of where I am. A lot of this is outside of my usual wheelhouse, though.
Yeah, I've been trying real hard to kind of follow in these patterns that kind of break my usual listening habits. I can't say like Cowboy Carter was like my most listened to album this year. It's just something I have a lot of respect for.
For sure.
Yeah. Best New Artist. Which, let's face it, there's only really two options here that are going to... Two of these things are not like the others. Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter, Doichi. I can't pronounce that fourth one.
Krongbin?
Krongbin. Okay.
Krongbin? Something like that, yeah.
I fucking don't get dyslexia, kids. Ray, Chaperone, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims. Teddy Sinks more.
If it's not Chapel Roan, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Chapel Roan is the obvious pick for me too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing. Is that it's just like, how many of these people do you actually know, right?
Yeah,
like Chapel Roan has exploded.
Sabrina, though, dude, is very deadly.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think that she is very deserving, but Chapel Roan's rise to prominence has been astronomically and quick.
She is like the out of nowhere hit. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like in a world of the industry, Sabrina would be going uncontested this year. But Chappelle,
absolutely,
she's been just a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting one. If it goes to a third party, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to do? Oh, sorry.
I'll let you go ahead and do it because I have a bit that I want to do.
Okay. Did you want to do Producer of the Year non-classical?
Yes, I would like to real quick.
Okay, please do.
So yeah, Alicia, Dernst, DeMille, Emil II, Ian Fichuk, Mustard, and Daniel Negro. The only thing I have to say about this is Mustard on the beat ho. There is no contest here.
This is DJ Mustard, right?
I believe so.
Okay, in that case, yeah, it's not a contest.
Yeah. I'm almost certain this is the Mustard that did the production on Not Like Us. And, like, if there's anything that Not Like Us is phenomenal for, it's the production. Not
Like Us is literally, like, the most primal version of a song.
Yeah. It is, there's no contest there.
Yeah.
If it's not Mustard, I would be seriously questioning the validity of the Grammys at that point.
Here's the thing, right? This is how you know Kendrick is fucking legit.
Yeah.
He just did these diss tracks, and he didn't do it to promote an album. He didn't try to make an album out of them. He didn't try to make an EP out of them. He just released them into the world and let them do their jobs.
Just for the love of the game.
Just for the love of being a fucking hater. And that's why we respect him. Songwriter of the Year. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know any of these people. I recognize Ray from some of the other ones, but yeah, not much for me to say here.
I will ignore Songwriter of the Year because it's probably just like fucking people from like the credits.
Yeah,
that's it. That's an industry one.
For sure.
Best pop solo performance. We have Bodyguard by Beyonce, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, Apple by Charlie XCX, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, and Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan. I do not agree with any of these five. I'll probably do Beyonce because I like Beyonce, but I can't remember Bodyguard that well.
Fair enough.
There's nothing about Espresso that stands out to me.
This is one of those things. I'm sure that they have something on the Grammys website that helps to differentiate the different categories, but uh, I guess it's just a difference between solo versus duo group performances. But that seems a bit arbitrary. But yeah.
Do you want to go to best duo/group performance?
Yeah, we have Us, Gracie Abrams featuring Taylor Swift, Levi's Jeans, Beyonce featuring Post Malone, Guess, Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish, The Boy's Mine, Ariana Grande, Brandy and Monica, and Die With a Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
Die With a Smile.
Yeah, I don't know the Beyonce song, but I feel like given that it's not the ones that we talked about already, it's not as like the fact that this one isn't nominated for record of the year or song of the year is kind of like tells me all I need to know, right? And
yeah,
Die With a Smile is
like it's not a bad song. Don't get me wrong. It's just that
for sure.
Die With a Smile is definitively like one of those things that just feels like it should have been here by now.
Yeah,
like it's always been around. I think it is a good addition to the Gaga canon. Best pop vocal album: Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter, Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish, Eternal Sunshine from Ariana Grande. Where the fuck have you been in this list?
Yeah, well, I mean, technically she was on the last one, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess by Chappell Roan, and The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift.
You know what's funny? I think Kendrick shoved Ariana off the lists.
Yo!
Because he's very much the odd one out compared to everything else in the record and song of the year lists.
I will give you this. Kendrick probably did get Ariana off the list, but the Beatles kept her off the list.
True.
So, my heart wants Chappell Roan. But I know this is something that Taylor's rigged the voting for to get the Tortured Poets Department.
There is something to be said for the just sheer clout that Taylor Swift has at this point.
Yeah.
I've started to take notice in the music section of my local Meijer. The only vinyl they keep in the store with any regularity, and they keep it there every week, is Taylor Swift albums.
It's because her fans are just rabid.
People eat that shit up.
Yeah.
Day and night. So other than Taylor, do you have a one that you want that you'd prefer? Is it just like Carpenter or Billie Eilish?
Fuck. I guess Sabrina Carpenter, because like I feel like I've been very hard on her, but I'm not really that angry with her or anything like that.
That's reasonable. Best dance electronic recording: She's Gone, Dance On, Disclosure, Loved, Fortet, Leave Me Alone, Fred Again and Baby Keem, Neverender, Justice and Tame Impala, and Witchy, K-Tronda featuring Childish Gambino.
We had fucking Justice and Tame Impala in the same song this year?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why did I know that?
I honestly feel like this is probably the best slate of dance electronic options that we've had. I think you have to go back at least 10 years. I feel like a lot of these have been really weak. They've had listings on them that I feel like don't quite match the spirit of the genre. And there's a couple of that here, particularly K-Tronda featuring Childish Gambino. It's a very good song. It's more R&B than I would typically attribute to a dance electronic recording, though. Still very good, though. Okay. The only one here that I would hope doesn't actually get it is Fred Again and Baby Keem, because it's fine. It's not very inspired. Disclosure, Fortet, Justice, any of them get it, I am over the moon. They're all very good.
So up next we have Best Dance Pop Recording. Make You Mine by Madison Beer, Von Dutch by Carly XCX, L'Amour de ma vie, Over Now Extended Edition by Billie Eilish, Yes and by Ariana Grande, and Got Me Started by Troye Sivan. I have heard none of these.
I haven't either.
Moving on.
I do find it a bit frustrating though. Like, it feels like they just like, okay, we need more. Like, how many pop categories are there? It's like, okay, we had pop, but we don't have enough pop, so we're gonna split it up between best solo performance and best duo group performance. We don't have enough pop still. Let's go ahead and do dance pop.
And it's like getting on EDM's turf at that point.
It very much is.
Yeah, no, it's very much the Grammys as an institution used to fucking advertise these records, and you can feel it a lot more nowadays.
Yeah.
Best dance / electronic album, Brat by Charlie XCX, 3 for Tate. I love that little joke in there. 3 for, that's good. Hyperdrama by Justice, Timeless by Catriona Anda. Yeah.
K-Tronda.
K-Tronda.
Sorry.
Thank you. K-Tronada. And Telos by Zed.
Mm-hmm. The
Justice,
only
please?
moral choices here are Justice or Forte, and it should be Justice.
Justice is so fucking good.
I don't know why Zed is on here. That feels like he has had some phenomenal albums in the past. I have heard almost nothing about this one. It's lukewarm.
I'm guessing we don't listen to best remix recording material, do we?
I was a bit surprised though, because it feels like another like, oh, we need more pop kind of thing.
Yeah. This feels like we need to sell some extended editions.
Like, I guess, I don't know. I'm gonna go through them real quick. Alter Ego, K-Tronada remix, K-Tronada remix of Duetchi featuring JT, a bar song, Tipsy remixed by David Guetta, which is like the only conventional dance artist here, but it's also a bar song, so it's like, whatever. Espresso, Mark Ronson x FNZ Working Late remix. Yeah. Joss Sees Them, I'm a Piano remix. Alex Antaeus Footsteps, and Mr. Mish. Von Dutch, A.G. Cook remix. This is Charlie XCX's. I'm going to look this up real quick, the Joss Sees Them, because that is a lot of names I don't know to be nominated here, next to stuff like Charlie XCX and David Guetta.
Up next we have Best Traditional Pop Album, Vocal Album, because there's never any instrumental pop albums. What the fuck?
Figures.
Fleur de Pieux by Cyril Amaye. Visions by Nora Jones. Good Together, Lake Street Drive. Impossible Dream by Aaron Lazar. And Christmas Wish by Gregory Porter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any of these.
I have not heard any of these. Nora Jones is very talented. Gregory Porter is very talented.
Yes.
Like, either of them win, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm sure there's room for someone else to come out on top, though.
Best rock performance. We've got Now and Then by the Beatles. Beautiful People Stay High by the Black Keys. The American Dream is Killing Me by Green Day. Gift Horse by Idols. Dark Matter by Pearl Jam. Broken Man by St. Vincent. One of these is nominated for Record of the Year. I wonder which one's going to win.
I wonder.
Now and Then is just such an interesting little piece. It's like a puzzle box. I think I've only heard half of these. I do like St. Vincent, though. I might listen to that one later. Yeah. Best metal performance. We have Mi Colpe a Chiara. I hope I got that right.
I have no idea.
Marina Viotti and Victor La Messine. Maz. I butchered all those and I apologize, except for Gargira. Crown of Horns by Judas Priest. Suffocate Knocked Loose featuring Poppy. Screaming Suicide, Metallica. And Cellar Door by Spiritbox. I'm giving it to Gojira because I fucking love Gojira.
I was going to say, I don't listen to metal, but of the people I know who do, I have overwhelmingly heard them talking about Gojira compared to anything else on this list.
Dude, Gojira has been like my thing lately. Like, I just got into them maybe like 2 months ago. Actually, no. It was like a month before the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember, like, at the same time I was getting into Gojira, they had that big performance. I think that's the song from the performance, by the way. With the fucking, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that to me was just validifying my new love for this band. Gojira is the shit. Best rock album, we have Happiness Bastards by the Black Crowes, Romance by Fontaines DC, Saviors by Green Day, Ting by Idols, Dark Matter by Pearl Jam, Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones, and No Name by Jack White.
Mm-hmm.
I'm torn because I do like Hackney Diamonds. It's not the Stones in their prime, or else it'd be really obvious. Happiness Bastards is also very good, but I'm giving it to No Name by Jack White because that's a fucking good White Stripes album.
I figured.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Plus, the whole, like, No Name was an event when it came out. Because Jack didn't announce it, he just gave out free copies with anything you purchased at his stores. Best rock song, we've got... What's the fucking difference between best rock song and best... Okay, I'm going to get picky here. Best rock performance, you can't have Now and Then, because Now and Then is just recordings from throughout several years put together on top of each other. It should be under best rock song, not rock performance.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Best rock song, Beautiful People Stay High by Black Keys. Broken
So
Man
here's an
by...
interesting, the other side of it, though, right?
Okay, yeah.
They clearly have rock song more focused on the writer's side of it, and attributing even just a group of writers for Now and Then is much less obvious than most tracks.
Fair. Although we do know John Lennon wrote the song, we don't know how much Paul McCartney contributed.
Yeah.
Beautiful People Stay High by the Black Keys. Broken Man by St. Vincent. Dark Matter by Pearl Jam. Dilemma by Green Day. And Gift Horse by Idols. I'm cool with Dark Matter or Beautiful People Stay High. St. Vincent can also win this. I'll be fine.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah. You can tell we're getting to the part where we kind of speed through all these because we're losing steam. Any other categories you wanted to touch on? I mean,
I'm skimming through them real quick. There is one, actually, yes.
Yeah, I feel like we should touch the hip-hop stuff.
Yep. I have one other than that, but yes.
What's that?
I would like to talk best progressive R&B album.
Let's do so.
Because this is kind of like a sleeper powerhouse kind of a thing, where there's just a lot of good stuff here. So Glad to Know You, Avery Sunshine, En Route, Duran Bernard, Brando Stone in the New World, Childish Gambino, Crash, Kalani, and Wylod, and No Worries, I think is how it's done, which is Anderson .Paak and Knowledge.
I'm giving it to Childish Gambino.
I'm giving it to No Worries, because Anderson .Paak is phenomenal.
Fair.
So yeah, mostly just wanted to give the shout out to Anderson .Paak, because I very much admire their work.
Yeah.
But yes, otherwise though, rap hip hop. It looks like they have it under rap performances, rap songs.
Enough by Cardi B. Enough Miami by Cardi B. When the Sun Shines Again, Common and Pete Rock featuring Posthumous.
Something like that.
Nissan Altima. Hey, I drive a Nissan Altima. By Doechii. Houdini by Eminem. Like That featuring Metro Blooming featuring Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, Glorilla and Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. Man's nominated twice on here.
One of these things. Okay, so that is actually super notable, and I was going to bring that up earlier, is that typically in a given year, you'll have more than one nomination in a category from the same artist, and that hasn't happened. It's been very divided. There's just, I guess that's more speaking to the consistency across the albums, where there is more variety in them, but also less consistency. Unless you're Kendrick Lamar, in which case you don't release an album and you still make it on here twice.
That's so fucking impressive. Notice how Drake's not on here. That should say a lot.
Yeah, he's in the dirt. Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, is the obvious one here. I think I would be shocked if it went to anything else. Seeing Eminem get a nod is neat, but I kind of feel a bit undeserved. His album I found very underwhelming as a whole.
I will say I only listened to Houdini off his album,
Hmm.
and the fact that he resampled something he already did,
Hmm.
I felt kind of told me enough about the project that I didn't need to look further into it.
Yeah, it's not peak Marshall Mathers, and
Yeah.
that's just the reality of him being. He's getting old.
Well, I don't think it's so much he's getting old. He's just got other things to worry about. He's not like
Sure, yeah.
angry all the time anymore. You know? All things
Hmm.
considered, the dude had a fucked up start, but he's landed right on
Yeah.
his feet, and it's nothing but impressive. He doesn't need to prove
I
anything.
I like the story that the album has, Death of Some Shady, but yeah, in terms of a piece of music, I don't think it is as good as other stuff.
Agreed.
Best melodic rap performance: Kalani, Jordan Adetunji featuring Kalani, Spaghetti, Beyonce featuring Lyndon Martell and Shabuzi, We Still Don't Trust You, Future and Metro Boomin featuring The Weeknd, Big Mama, Lotto, and 3 a.m. Rhapsody featuring Erica Badu.
I love Erica Badu. I'm sorry. I gotta
Mm,
give it to her. Even if
reasonable.
just for
That's fair.
featuring. Yeah.
I am picking up here though that I assume this is off the same album. Notable two Future and Metro Boomin pieces here, so might have to look into that later.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Hmm.
It's so weird to see country so far down this list on Variety.
Tells you what you need to know about the popularity of it. I feel.
I don't think it's so much that. I think it's just a matter of like what Variety readers would expect.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I have to compare it to the Grammy list. I'd assume this is just the order that it is,
Fair.
but that's possible. Best rap album? I went past it. Might delete it later. J. Cole, The Auditorium Volume 1, Common and Pete Rock, Alligator Bites Never Heal, Doechii, The Death of Slim Shady, Coup de Grace, Eminem, We Don't Trust You, Future and Metro Boomin.
I feel
I've only
like
listened to The Death of Slim Shady, and I would not want it to win this. So I feel like that says all I need to say about that album.
I agree with you.
Then we have Best Rap Song. I mean, two of them are Kendrick's, and one of them's going to win. So it's like, do we need to go into it? I don't know.
No. Like again,
It's,
yeah.
yeah. Of the nominations, we talked about this briefly, but the nominations for the record of the year, Not Like Us was the second most listened to, compared to heavy hitters like Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish and Beyonce. So it's like it's going to be Not Like Us. It's just been so massively influential in a way that the other stuff hasn't.
Yeah. Not Like
Uh,
Us is the culmination of a like it's like the end of a fucking shonen arc. You know?
yeah.
Yeah. It's Goku
Would you
going
like to
Super
jump to?
Saiyan. Yeah, sorry.
Say, would you like to jump down to country album?
It's going to Cowboy Carter, and if it doesn't,
Right.
I'm going to burn down that city.
Reasonable.
Uh,
Skimming through, I did want to mention. I thought it was interesting that Beyonce has a nomination in Best Americana Performance. That stood out.
it's because she's Beyonce, dude.
Mm-hmm. Skimming through the rest, there wasn't anything else that I had on the list to go over. Do you have anything else?
I want to do a couple highlights. Like,
Sure.
Andre 3000 got another fucking nomination for Best Instrumental Composition. For I Swear I Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but this is literally The Way the Wind Blew Me this time. It should go to that. No other choice. I also wanted to bring up, because I'm just trying to find what else, because I'm really far down the list at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, I don't know. I thought there'd be cool box sets we could talk about, but I'm not seeing anything worth noting.
Best Score. I would love for this to go to Hans Zimmer, Dune Part 2. Zimmer is just perennial.
I hate Zimmer.
Also, would be cool for Trent Reznor, Atticus Rose.
I'll live with that. I can live with Trent Reznor.
Mm-hmm. Best score for video games and other interactive media.
This screams that I just said picked whatever my kid was playing at the moment.
What the hell? Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord? What the hell is this?
I don't know, dude.
It's released in 1980.
What? Are you serious?
What the hell? Is this like According to Wikipedia,
It must have gotten.
did it have a re-release?
It did. There's a Steam
That must
page.
have been. Well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Huh.
This feels like a meme vote.
It's very much an odd one out right there.
I'm watching the trailer for it on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
This is weird, dude.
I mean, it looks like an old school RPG from what I've seen on the Wikipedia page.
Dude, it's so weird because this remake is kind of pretty, but they kept a lot of the jank.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Fucking Star Wars. I'm sorry, not Star Wars. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I'll put that as my pick for best soundtrack for video games.
I think it's interesting. Ubisoft has 2 nominations there.
Yeah, they do.
People give Ubisoft a lot of shit, but they make things that people like more often than not.
Oh, Jimmy Carter got a Grammy nom.
Really?
Yeah, best audiobook narration and storytelling recording.
Oh, hell yeah.
Give it to fucking Jimmy Carter. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Dolly Parton. Saint Dolly Parton's in there, but no, give it to Jimmy. Give me Jimmy. John Legend did a children's album, apparently.
Also, part of the problem with doing this, like, it's partly the Grammys' own fault because their website sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know more about some of these categories, though. Best immersive audio album. Like, is that just like ASMR?
I think so.
Do they have an ASMR category now? Because that's kind of based if they do.
I'm a little disappointed, perhaps, by Guns N' Roses didn't get a Grammy nom, but I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. I will live.
You know, it has been all considered a pretty tough year for music in that there is a lot of good music right now.
Yeah, like if you get out of that whole like pop music wagon, there's a lot of cool things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I would wish that Mountain of the Bird got a Grammy nomination and The Infamous Orion. Those were some pretty good albums this year. I'm just saying.
Big snub.
I always get snubbed. What are you talking about?
The system's against you, man.
It really is.
Gotta rise up.
Fucking go listen to fucking Mountain of the Bird by Mountain of the Bird on Bandcamp. Listen to Magnetic Horror Plus and Negative. I'm sorry, Positive and Negative on a streaming service near you because I paid a lot of licensing fees to get that on there. It's not really a lot of licensing fees. Fucking. Let's see here. I'm looking at my knowledge panel to see where everything is. YouTube Music, Apple Music, Pandora. I know it's on Spotify. It's on Amazon, iHeartRadio, Deezer. You want to go on Deezer and stream The Infamous Orion, Kyril?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Go to my Bandcamp, buy the fucking music, give me money. Actually, let me see real quick. How much do you think I made in royalties, by the way?
Oh God, I don't know.
Because I have made some money.
That's the kind of thing. Can you give me like a figures number? Give me a ballpark. Because I would hope that you made like a $1 million. But
$1 million?
I don't know how Bandcamp works really.
Okay, I'm not talking about my Bandcamp specifically because if it is, I
Okay.
made more money on that. I will say that.
Okay.
This is streaming, so this is YouTube
Oh,
Music,
God.
Amazon, Spotify.
um, 57 cents.
You motherfucker! You were so close, but you went over.
Am I? God, I hate that. I'm sorry. Streaming
45
sucks.
cents.
Streaming is bullshit.
I'm okay with it. You know, I didn't expect I would make 45 cents this fucking fast.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, everybody at home, right? Just from that, let me pull up my overall sales. I make money. I think I make some pretty decent money off it. I know I make more money than some people. In terms of, like, my Bandcamp sales, all time, about $31 on my Bandcamp sales. For fucking the other gigs I do, like the movie stuff and whatnot, that definitely pays more money. I will say that.
To close out, fun thing that happened to me with YouTube here, after looking up all of the Grammy nominations, it hasn't ruined my YouTube homepage, but it has led to some interesting results.
Like what?
I've never seen before. I've never heard of this person before. It somehow has 3.8 million views, and it's just called "How to Make Your Mic Sound Dog Shit."
Hey, I already beat them to it.
That's where we're at right now. That's where the music industry is.
Sounds about right.
Anything else?
I
think I'm good.
I'm still in self promo mode. Sorry. Year of the
Okay.
Heathen coming out never. Okay. I'm Mr. Ryan, and I've been a Schmo.
And I'm Kyril, and the echo chamber will continue until morale proves.
Damn, dude.